You ain't got to push eastward. You push west, north, and south. Go ahead.
So that no beast might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great.
Oh, he became great. He did according to his will. That's what happened. When Darius the Mede took the kingdom, now it was the Medo-Persian time. It was that empire's time. And the Medes were running the first. That's the Russians. They were running the first half of the kingdom. So they became great, but now what happened? Verse 5.
And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth.
I'm sorry. I should have skipped down to verse 20. My fault. Yeah, skip down to verse 20 because I want to get the interpretation of it first. That way we know exactly what we're reading about. Go ahead, verse 20.
The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
Oh, so that's what it is. So we know what the ram, I told you it was something that we already had already. So it's equal to the bear. The ram and the bear is one and the same, or the breast and arms of silver. They all the same. All the same. So now back up to verse 5, because now the ram is ruling. When the ram start ruling, the night the guy drunk out of them cups. That's when the ram start ruling. Go ahead. Back to verse 5. Go ahead.
And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
See, now he's looking at, the Lord's showing Daniel all of this stuff. He's seeing the ram running it. He doing his thing. And then all of a sudden he look over there. Here come a he-goat coming from the west. And he getting ready to smash. This is signifying we getting ready to go to the next kingdom. We got from Babylon to Medo-Persian, which was the lion. Babylon, then Medo-Persian, then the bear. In this case, the Medo-Persian was described as a ram with two horns. Now we got to get to that leopard, or the belly and the thighs of brass. We got to get to that. Remember the leopard had 4 wings of a fowl on his back. That's why it's going to be parallel with what we read about this goat. This goat and this leopard is one and the same. It represents the breast, the belly, and the thighs of brass. The third kingdom. It's getting ready to come now. He said, I saw this he-goat, and he came so quick, he said he don't even touch the ground. He ain't even touch the ground. Go ahead, verse 6.
And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him. We can see already the hand writing on the wall for him now. Because this he-goat is coming. It's the he-goat's time now. And he ran to the ram. Remember, the ram came out of the east, pushed westward, north, and southward, but the he-goat was in the west. Because this is the Greek Empire. So he in the west, and he getting ready to take over. And he came, so of course he going to get the one with the power. Once he get his own house in order, he going to knock the one off with the power, and that's the Medes and the Persians. And the Persians was running it at this time, because the Medes ran the first half, then the Persians ran the latter half, so they were in charge, so that's who the Greeks was dealing with. So he said he ran unto the ram that had the 2 horns, which I seen standing before the river, and he ran unto him in the fury of his power. Verse 7. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with cooler against him.
That means anger. He was mad. Go ahead.
And smote the ram, and break his 2 horns.
And broke his 2 horns. See, the reason why I say the higher came up last, because out of the Medo-Persian Empire, they both ruled half of the kingdom. The Medes ruled the first half of the kingdom. The latter half, the Persians ruled, and they were the stronger ruler. So that's why I say the higher came up last. But it didn't matter to the Greeks. When it's time for the Greeks to come, it didn't matter how strong you was. He moved with coal against him, and he smote the ram, broke his 2 horns, and what?
And there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand.
See, nobody could help him, because we got another transition going here.
That's
we
right.
getting to the third kingdom that God called. That means we only got one more to come after this one. Go ahead, verse 8.
Therefore, the he-goat waxed very great.
Now, it's his time. He great. Just like the ram was great, just like the lion was great, now the he-goat, which is the same as the leopard. Remember, the leopard, the third one in Daniel 7, had 4 wings of a fowl. Notice this he-goat is going to be identical to the leopard because they are one in the same kingdom. He said, therefore, the he-goat waxed very great. And what happened to this he-goat?
And when he was strong, the great horn was broken.
See, he had a great horn at first. Horns generally represent kings. It represents the king. The great horn was the first king of the Greek Empire, Alexander the Great. But he died real young as soon as they conquered the world. He died real young at 33. So that great horn was broken. They had to come up with something. What they do?
And for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
Oh, that's why the leopard had 4 wings of a fowl. I'm laughing because somebody was telling me yesterday, a brother and sister I talked to down in Texas, they said, he said, they getting the word, they eating the word up. He said, but my wife loved when you say, oh, and I said, I never realized I even say that. And I said, every time I say it now, I'm going to think about you. But, oh, yeah, you see. So it said, the he-goat did knock this ram off now, right? It said, right. Verse 8, therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. That's how we know it's the same as the leopard too, because the leopard had 4 wings of a fowl on the back, which represent these 4. Because when Alexander the Great died, his 4 generals took it over, and they couldn't conquer one another, so they said, skip it, we might as well just share it. You rule your part, I rule mine. All of them wanted to rule the whole thing like he did. They couldn't do it. They didn't have the muster to do it like him. So they said, skip it, let's settle down and rule our separate parts. And you know, they kept fighting. Eventually they knocked a couple of them off. It was only 2 left. And eventually fragmented, so it made room for the 4th one to come up. The 4th kingdom got to come up out of this whole system. But now, skip down, because again, it interprets itself. Skip down to verse 21, and let's read it. Go ahead.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
So again, we're getting all this stuff interpreted for us. It's explaining itself to us. So he said, look, the ram was with the 2 horns was the king of Mede and Persia, and the rough goat, the he-goat, was what? It was simply the king of Grecia, and the great horn in his eyes was the first king. And I told you that was Alexander the Great.
That's right.
Go ahead, he's going to tell you some more though, 22.
Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
See, 4 kingdoms stood up out of the nation, but not in his power, because his 4 generals just divided up and ruled their separate spots. That's right. They ruled all their areas and just left it alone. Said, look, we ain't going to be able to conquer and rule like him, because that's what they wanted to do. But they couldn't do it. Alexander the Great had put together, hey, a magnificent kingdom, but they couldn't carry it on like that. So now we're going to go read some history to get some backup, and then we're going to get to that 4th one, because actually you don't see the 4th one name just pop up in here like we got Babylon, Medo-Persia, and now the Greeks we just read about, but we know it got to be 4. The Greek Empire is only the 3rd one. So we're going to look at it. We're going to look at first on the left-hand side of the history, World Book Encyclopedia, Volume 8, page 366. This is the Hellenistic age, and I'm going to read that. He said the Hellenistic age. In 334 BC, Alexander the Great, Philip's son, attacked the Persian Empire with an army of Macedonians and Greeks. See, this is what we're reading about. So this is documented history, not from the Bible, but the Bible, the Lord had called it before it happened, because the Lord called it in from the beginning. This is just documented after it happened. the Lord had let it be known before it happened. So it had to happen this way because God is God. So now it said he attacked the Persian Empire with an army of Macedonians and Greeks. Within 10 years, he conquered an area almost the size of the United States. That was unheard of for back then. In 10 years, he did some conquering. That's why it tells you that the he-goat touched not the ground when he went. This dude was moving. He was moving. They didn't have the equipment that we got nowadays, but he was moving for their time. That's why I said he bear rule over all earth. And then it said he recognized and admired Greek traditions and achievements and founded Greek cities everywhere he went, including Alexandria, Egypt. By spreading Greek civilization and language, Alexander profoundly affected the history of the world. Greek culture rapidly became a world culture. The period that followed Alexander is called the Hellenistic Age. After Alexander died in 323, so I guess the Lord said, I got to take this guy out. He's going to be conquered everywhere and ain't going to never give up. So he died real quick at a young age. Macedonia gradually became weaker. Many Greek city-states took advantage of this weakness to unite into independent leagues. The chief leagues were Attalion in central Greece and Archaea in the Peloponnese. Each member of city-state sent delegates to league meetings. These leagues were the world's first attempt at representative democracy. Now we're going to keep reading. Greece at this time, this is actually page 391. It said Greece at this time was torn by quarrels among its city-states. So this is some 200 years later now, because they ruled that long. Didn't nobody knock them off for almost 200 years. Perseus, who had succeeded his father Philip V as king of Macedonia, took advantage of deep Greek discontent to provoke a war with Rome. See, that's what, when you see somebody strong coming up, that's what, if you in charge, you usually try to keep them down and fight them and beat them down. That's what usually happens. If we'd have read some of the biblical history, that's what happened with the Persian Empire. They saw the Greeks coming, and they tried to come up with little measures to keep them in their place, Hey, the Lord already called it. Their days was numbered. So Greece's days is numbered. They provoked a war with Rome, and it says Rome easily crushed Perseus in 168 BC. The Romans suppressed further Greek and Macedonian revolts in 148 BC and made Macedonia the first Eastern Roman province. 2 years later, the Romans destroyed the city of Corinth, completing their conquest of Greece. So now we got a new sheriff in town. See, we have to get this from history. All the history tell you about all of them, but we definitely got to get this from history because, it just slide into the fourth one in the Bible. It don't really give you no specifics, but we already know it got to be 4. So let's go back now to the Bible. And Daniel, the 7th chapter, where we had started at earlier. Daniel 7. We're going to finally get out of Daniel and get to Revelation in a minute, and we're going to wrap it up. Daniel 7, pick it up at verse 8. Because we read Daniel 7, 1 through 7 pretty much, where we got the 4 beasts. And so we know the 4th one didn't have a name. It was dreadful and terrible. We're going to look at a couple of characteristics of it, though. Some more characteristics. Go ahead, verse 8.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
See, now this little horn is important. It's important to understand because the first question people ask, well, if you telling me, it's 4 kingdoms, and it was Babylon, Medo-Persian, the Greek Empire, then the Roman Empire, how is the Roman Empire ruling now? Because the 4th one got to rule until Jesus comes. But we don't look like we don't see Rome ruling. Look like we don't see that. So that's a reasonable question to come up with, and we got the answer to it because Rome had another dimension that stepped in. That's where the toes came in at. That's where this little horn is at. It had religion that it brought into the play. That's why he said, because the fourth beast said it had 10 horns. Horns represent kings. But then verse 8 says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were the eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. So this letting you know this guy is a little different from his average counterparts, from his average king. Kings are usually, considered, even in the Lord's eyes, they consider kind of barbaric. But this one is telling you he got eyes like the eyes of a man and a mouth speaking great. In other words, he's looking more civil than the average king. Now let's go a little further, skip over to verse 19, and we're going to really get into the fourth one, because that's the main one we're concerned with, because that's where the stone got to come and deal with the feet. It got to deal with the fourth kingdom. Verse 19, go ahead.
Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass.
Notice it said diverse from the other. This one is different. This is a different type of animal. This kingdom. That's why he didn't have a lion, a bear to call. He just called it dreadful and terrible, exceedingly strong, and got iron feet and stamped the feet with his residue. Stamped the residue with his feet. But he said, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast that was diverse from the others, and what? Whose teeth?
From all the others exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet.
Go ahead, what else he know?
And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake great, very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
See, he important. That's the little horn. He's of utmost importance in this. His look is more stout than his fellows. That means he get more respect, because he's not just a king that come along and say, I'm running stuff. No, he got a religious dimension to him. He's a religious king. So he looked more like he should really be honored. But go ahead, verse 21.
I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them.
See, but he making war with the saints, so he's not on God's side. And this is taking us all the way down to the end. Go ahead.
Until the Ancient of Days came.
And the Ancient of Days, that's the Lord himself. Go ahead.
And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
See, it always take us to the end of time. That's why the title is From Man's Kingdom to Jesus' Kingdom, all on earth. It got us down there again. But notice, the saints got to take the kingdom from these people that's been running it prior, all on earth, not up in heaven. You ain't never heard about the saints going up there. People talking about going to heaven. Well, when you heard the saints going up to heaven to take something? That ain't going to happen, is it? Ain't nothing to take up there. Everything is straight up there, right? Who you going to take it from? God? You're going to go up to God, okay, we got to take this from you now. Ain't nothing to take. That's why he said, pray thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. The earth got to be put in order like it is up in heaven. So the taking is right here on the earth. That's where these 4 kingdoms resided at. That's where the saints going to reside at. So this man going to do the saints in until it's their time to take the kingdom and possess the kingdom. Verse 23, go ahead.
Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
See, this fourth one, he's something else. He is too tough. So we should be able to understand how he going to make it to the end. He got some different ingredients from all the rest of the 3 that were before him. Babylon, Medo-Persian, and Greek Empire. All those were strong and mighty kingdoms. But this one is something else. Go ahead.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise.
Oh, 10. So the horns do represent kings. They do represent kings. And these 10 horns represent kings that will come after, say we would say, the legs of iron. After the legs of iron had pretty much ran their course, then to get to the point of the feet and the toes of iron and clay, you needed some help to kind of keep it alive. And that's what these 10 horns, in other words, they came over the years in their generation. They came over the years. And then also the little horn came, and he came over the years, but he just stayed because he got somebody to replace his position every time. And that is the religious man from Rome. So he said, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise. Go ahead.
And another shall rise after them.
See, and that's the little horn. Back to him. Go ahead.
And he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Go ahead.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
See, this is the little horn. Still talking. Go ahead.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
See, that take you all the way to the end of time, to great tribulation, when the Antichrist is going to do his thing. It's going to be a religious leader, and he's going to have the last of the 10 horns working with him. Because these 10 horns came in their generation. So the last one, he plucked up the first 3 because he didn't like the way they operated. So really it left 7. And the 7th one is going to be side by side with this last little horn, and they going to put a hurting on the world for 3.5 years. But go ahead. But we going to get past that because we know eventually the stone got to come. We know the Lord got to take the kingdom and give it to the saints forever and ever. So we know how the story going to end. Go ahead, verse 26.
But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven.
Not up in heaven. No, the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven. All on the earth, brothers and sisters. What's going to happen to it?
Shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High.
The saints is getting this kingdom from this last 4th rulership, which is Rome. That's who we getting it from. Go ahead.
Whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him.
See, and everybody going to serve and obey the Lord from now on. Everybody from this point on. When he take the kingdom and give it to his saints, he going to be sitting as King of Kings. Now, flip over to the 8th chapter, back to Daniel 8. Because we skip certain parts on purpose because we want to keep it in order. See, you can read the Bible straight through, but when you put the pieces together with where they go, then you get a thorough understanding. So we skip these on purpose because they didn't go with the previous kingdoms. See, we know where the transition take place. And when you get the interpretation, you see that. Because this 4th kingdom had to come in. And he just slide in here. Daniel 8 and 9. Go ahead.
And out of the one of them came forth a little horn.
Now, some people try to say, well, that's out of the Greek Empire, because you left off at verse 8, he was talking about the Greek Empire. But no, the Lord had changed, and he'll take you all the way somewhere else in an instant.
That's right.
And so when he left off talking about the Greek Empire had split the world off into 4 parts by Alexander the Great's generals, his 4 generals that ruled after him. And then out of one of those segments, that's how Rome came up in this little horn. See, they got to get into play because the 3rd empire wasn't going to make it to the Lord. But the 4th empire, the Greeks were the 3rd one, though. So that's why I just slide into him. Out of one of them came forth the little horn. See, we know the little horn didn't come to the 4th beast already from Daniel 7. The 3rd beast never mentioned a little horn. It mentioned one great horn got broken and 4 other ones came up. Not a little one. Now 4 came up. But after the 4 came up, they ran their course, and then Rome came up, and that's where the little horn come from. And this little horn take us to the end. That's important to know about him. Out of one of them came forth a little horn, which what?
Which waxed exceedingly great toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host.
See, this guy's working for Satan himself. This guy really know what he doing. He working for Satan. So, and this is what Satan did, all of this. He is the one that waxed great to the host of heaven and cast the stars down and all of that. But go ahead, verse 11.
Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down.
Okay, so now he going to do that even in the end. But let's make sure, because we got the interpretation when we skip down to verse 23. Go ahead.
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
See, this is telling you about the little horn at verse 9, brothers and sisters. In the latter time of this whole shebang, this whole dynasty. Remember, the statue was one statue that worked this way all from head to toe, all the way down to the 10 toes. It was one statue. And the four beasts came in sequential order, one after another, and they represent the overall rulership of the whole earth. So when you get to the end, that's just the end of this whole Gentile dynasty, because these are all Gentiles. So when he said in the latter time of their kingdom, again, he ain't talking about the Greek kingdom. He talking about the whole kingdom as a whole. And we're going to know he talking about all the way down to our days because of what he say. We saw the little horn is going to make it until the kingdom get taken from him, right? In Daniel 7, to the saints of the Most High take the kingdom. He persecute the saints for 3.5 years. It said a time, times and a half, a time. Then the saints going to take it. So let's see where this take us to. In the latter time of their kingdom, a king of fierce understand dark sins shall stand. That means he knows some stuff that most people don't know. He know what he doing. Verse 24.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power.
Oh, he got all kind of power, but he getting it from Satan, and he going to have some armies working for him too. Go ahead.
And he shall destroy wonderfully.
Oh, he destroying like it's unimaginable. Go ahead.
And shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his
power. Now, he destroying not just mighty people and the holy people. So if you holy, he looking for you. Go ahead.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart.
He magnify himself. He want to run it all. Go ahead.
And by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princesses, but he shall be broken without hand.
See, that's how you know this is way beyond the Greek Empire, brothers and sisters, because nobody from the Greek Empire ever had an occasion to stand up against the prince of princes. That's Jesus, right? Nobody ever had a case. No, matter of fact, nobody from the Roman Empire haven't had an occasion yet to stand up against the prince of princes. But somebody will, because this little horn come out of Rome. That's why the head of the church is not the head of just what's called the Catholic Church. It's the Roman Catholic Church. So he's a king in his own right, because he's the king of Rome in Vatican City. He's the king of that. So that's why it called him a king by labeling him a horn. It just called him a little horn because he's a different type of king than all of his counterparts. But verse 25 said, and through his policy, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace, see, that's a different type of king when he's talking about peace and still killing you. By peace he shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken, how? Without hand. Wasn't the stone cut out of the mountain, how? Without hand. I told you, it's not a natural stone. And the stone going to hit the image on the feet, and that's going to destroy this whole dynasty that started with Nebuchadnezzar's head of gold. In essence, the only beast around for the stone to hit, when you got the four, the lion, the bear, the leopard, the only beast is going to be the dreadful and terrible because he the last one. That's the one he going to meet. But now, let's go further. Go to Revelation now, 13, and we're going to wrap it up. Revelation 13. There's a lot more we can read because when you get down to the end, the only way we can get Rome, since Rome was ruling in Jesus' days, it seemed hard to say, well, you know, it looked like America ruling, Russia ruling, you know, Britain got a kingdom. How is Rome ruling? Because all this came out of Rome, and Rome is still ruling through religion right now. Still got a little military strength, but they got great religious strength. And all these kingdoms, America, all of them that went along with Rome and allowed their subjects to be brainwashed with bad teaching. So you think you worshiping God. A lot of people in the world think they worshiping God. They not. Because they've been influenced by Rome, and that just was a way for Rome to keep their power. I used to wonder when I was little, well, you know, how the world get to be like this? How did the Pope get to be the Pope in Rome? How did that happen? I used to wonder stuff like that. But he got it out of the ruins of the Roman Empire. He got it from way back there. He stepped up to the plate and said, look, we're going to help it. We're going to try to help keep things going. And he got more and more power. Now he got his own city, his own sovereign country within a sovereign country. It's hard to get to him. But now, Revelation 13. Revelation 13. See, the military strength fell back in the day. Rome's last emperor fell in 476 AD. The last emperor. See, that was the end of the legs of iron. See, when we was under the legs of iron, the emperors ran it all. They ran it with an iron fist. They ran it all. There wasn't no religious leader to be bargaining with the emperors. They ran it all. They wanted to kill you, they killed you. Mm-hmm. But once it fell the military power fell in 476 AD, that's when the little horn stepped in. That's when we started working our way toward the feet and the toes, part of iron and part of clay. See, so in other words, they got knocked upside the head, but they didn't die like the ones before them. That's how slick Rome was. Revelation 13:1. Go ahead.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Now, we all the way in Revelation, but we still reading about beasts, right? And we already know from everything we've seen in Daniel, beast represents kingdoms. So a good question you should ask yourself, well, what kingdom is this? We know we don't need a 5th one or another kingdom, and we're not done with what was told to us in Daniel, because the 4th one got to make it till the Lord come. That's it. So we're not done with that. Mm-hmm. So common sense should let you know this is none other than the 4th one. That's what this is. This is the 4th one, because that's the most important one. That's why he talked more about that one than the other one, because that's the one that's going to make it to the end. And this is going to show you how it made it to the end. It remade itself, so to speak. It fell military-wise in 476 AD, but it wasn't done killing you yet. It killed your mind, and it waited around till it got enough power it can kill your mind, body, and soul, kill you all over again. It stayed around long enough. Rome ain't gone nowhere. It fell off the map a little bit, but it didn't leave. That's why he said, I saw stand upon the sand of the sea. Now, just like Daniel saw these beasts, John saw a beast, but what he saw is the 4th one coming back strong and well. That's what he saw. Rise up out the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, 10 crowns upon his heads, and the name of blasphemy. Verse 2.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Now, the beast got 10 horns. See, this is all ingredients from the 4 in Daniel. Because this beast is smart. This beast like Rome put this political system, even America's political system is based off of Rome. Well, we got to work together. We got to get us some senators and we can work together. See, so Rome is still influencing everybody, even politically wise and definitely religious wise. So everything that you see out here, it's ingredients of Rome.
That's right.
So when Rome put it back together, they putting it back together with a makeup of people. So that's why he said it has 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And it got 10 crowns because this represents 10 kings. It's not the same 10 that was on the 4th beast in Daniel 7 because 3 of them got plucked up. Now it's 10 nations who Rome putting together now. That's what the 10 represent. And notice verse 2 said the beast that I saw. Now first it got 10 horns like it had in Daniel 7. Then it said the beast was like unto a leopard, just like we had a leopard in Daniel 7. So it got the makeup of the Greek Empire with it, because Rome was smart. Rome didn't just erase Greece from the planet when it took over from Greece. Rome said, I like some of that stuff Greece got. We're going to keep some of that stuff. Right. Why you think you still got the Olympics and stuff like that? Because Rome didn't just throw away. They said, that was pretty good. We like that. We're going to incorporate that into our thing. We're going to let that last. Rome was smart. So it said, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Go ahead.
And his feet was as the feet of a bear.
See, the feet of a bear. That was the Medo-Persian, so it got ingredients of all of them. Go ahead.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
That was the Babylonian, so it got the mouth of a lion. Go ahead.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
See, the dragon is Satan the devil. That's where it's getting power from. That's why I said a man going to be powerful, but not by his own. Verse 3.
And I saw one of his heads as if were wounded to death. Mm-hmm. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
Oh, the deadly wound. See, this is what happened. Rome got a wound inflicted in it in 476 AD. But it didn't die. The Greeks empire had lost their power to Rome. The Medo-Persian empire had lost their power to Greek. And the Babylonian Empire had lost their power to the Medo-Persian. But Rome didn't lose its power to nobody. It just suffered a deadly wound, but it didn't go away. It just stayed dormant long enough. Now, in these days, it's trying to get it all back. And that's what it's getting ready to do. That's why America is backpedaling now. Because Rome got to come on strong. So now, that's why verse 3 says, I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. See, it didn't die. It had a deadly wound, but it stayed around so it can be healed. So it's saying the deadly wound was healed. And all the world won. And everybody going to be marveling at the revival of this empire. Just like I had an article yesterday I was reading where it says, can the EU, which is these 10 nations, that it's going to ultimately be, it's more than 10 now that's in the EU, but only 10 going to operate with these armies. It said, can they be the policemen of the world? They going to be the policemen of the world. That's why America backpedaled. We tired of being the bad guy and all. But Rome going to step up. The EU going to step up. And all of the people in the EU, they signed a treaty back in 1948. The treaties of Rome. That's the treaty they had to sign. Some of them might not even know it. But they're going to know it before it's over with. But now, it said one of his heads were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after. Verse 4.
And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast.
See, the beast is the kingdom. But you ultimately, you following what they tell you, worshiping Satan. Go ahead.
And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him?
See, nobody ain't going to be able to make war with him. Nobody. He getting ready to bring the pain. Go ahead.
And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
See, that's how it's going to end. 3.5 years, just like we read in Daniel 7, he going to make war against the saints. For a time and a half of times, 3.5 years. So in other words, it's getting us all the way to the end. See, but Rome had to get to the end from 476 AD, and they had that little horn that kept it alive. That's why over the years, the religious leader, he bargained and went back and forth with the military men that would come. He used one against another sometime, had them fighting each other. Just like in the history that we got, it's some more history I ain't gonna read, but it show you how the papacy built the empire up during those years. From 476, once it fell, and they done kept it alive all this time. You had military men who the papacy crowned. And they had to give some of the credit, even though a lot of them didn't want to, they had to give some of the credit to the papacy. And they couldn't just kick him to the curb because he had so much influence, so they had to go along with him. And they've been going, how you think about how you think the papacy got all the power it got a sovereign country inside of a sovereign country. How that happen? He ain't went and took it from nobody. He ain't went to, no king back in the day and said, just give me that. Before I have my army, they gonna come beat you. No, he ain't do that. No, he just manipulated, had people following him that they made deals with him. They said, I give you this then. And you just co-sign what I'm doing. See, if he co-sign what I'm doing, then hey, that make him look legitimate in the eyes of the people. So, and that's what then happened over the years. So Rome got a new spin other than it was in the old days when they had the legs of iron. That's when now you got the iron and the clay with the toes. And instead of having one emperor that ruled everything, after 476, you have a religious man and you have a military man. Ever since then. That's why even some of the history you can read on your own, it had over the years, they came up with a term, one pope, one emperor. One pope, one emperor. It wasn't just an emperor like it used to be. No, it's one, and the pope come first. One pope, one emperor. It's a two-headed leadership in this kingdom now, not just an emperor. That's how it's been since 476 AD. So now, we're going to get to that though, but they worshiping and the guy making war with this, speaking blasphemy, and power was given him to go 40 and 2 months, verse 6.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
Oh, he blaspheming God. He's something else. Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints
just
and to
like
overcome
it told
them.
us in Daniel 7. Just like it told us in Daniel 7, he is going to wear out the saints of the Most High for 3.5 years. Here it say make war with the saints. People talking about the saints going to get raptured. You a lie. Why they getting war made on them and losing right here? It was given him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. Go ahead.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
See, he got power everywhere, but he regrouping now. This is in our days. He doing this right now. He getting it together so he can put a hurting on the world. Verse 11. Skip down to verse 11 because now we just saw that beast. I'm telling you, that beast is the revived fourth beast. The revived Roman Empire, because it has been laying dormant. And we're going to see that in a minute. But go ahead, verse 11.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
Now, you get some brothers get confused. I heard some brothers even talking about this is America. Look, the Bible ain't giving you no more beasts. It gave you all the beasts. It's going to give you 4. That's right. The 4 going to make it till the Lord come. Those 4 only going to make it. And they are Babylon, whose day came and went, Medo-Persian day came and went, the Greek Empire day came and went. The Roman Empire is the one we got to watch from now on. The Roman Empire, it's it. So is this is not a 5th beast or another beast. No, the beast we've been talking about is the one. It's the revived Roman Empire. So what is he showing you this for? He said another beast came up out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb and had a mouth, but spake as a dragon. Go ahead, verse 12.
And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
See, this is all about the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. This is not, you ain't going to have no another kingdom come along and say, y'all listen to that kingdom over there. It's like Germany. Germany got a lot of power. Germany not going to come along and say, look, y'all should just all listen to France. No, that ain't going to happen. This is, in other words, this is the leadership of the beast. This is a team of two. That's the leadership. That's why they said they got two horns like a lamb. That's what I was telling you before. This is the two leaders, the emperor and the pope. The religious leader, the little horn, and the regular horn. That's all it is. That's why he exercised all the power. You know, it's telling you right here what this is. Verse 12 said, and he exercised all the power of the first beast. In other words, this is the power structure of the revived Roman Empire. What is it? It's only two. That's why he said he got two horns. Notice at verse 11, he said he got two horns like a lamb. That means it looking righteous like a lamb. Looking like not coming to you just looking devilish. No, looking like a lamb. Two horns like a lamb. But he speak as a dragon. What's coming out of his mouth is Satan. It's what Satan wants. Now, go to the 17th chapter of Revelation. Revelation 17. 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. 17 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
See, he going to show you the judgment of the great whore, because it's this one city where all this come from. And that is Rome, and that's even where the churches come from, out of Rome. Go ahead.
With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
See, this all derived from Rome. Because this is that woman. And that's where you got the Roman Catholic Church, who is in control of the world as we speak. But go ahead.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So they let you know this is the same part of the beast, because it wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the beast. If it wasn't for the Roman Empire, there wouldn't be a Roman Catholic Church. Could it be one? Go ahead.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
That's the official colors they got. Go ahead.
And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Oh, she loaded with money, richer than any organization in the world, but she got a golden cup full of false teaching.
That's right.
All the doctrines as a whole that come from this organization has influenced the world in the wrong way. And the kings then went along with it. The kings then let their subjects be polluted, even though these are so-called sovereign countries aside from Rome. They still let their subjects be polluted by Rome.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots.
She called herself the mother church, but go ahead.
And abominations of the earth.
Notice it's called mystery, because it's a great mystery, and it go back to Babylon, where we started all this off with Nebuchadnezzar. Because Babel means to confuse, and we done thoroughly got confused. But go ahead.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
And she been doing some saints in. She gonna do some more in, because they ain't going to take this line down. But in the end, Jesus is going to take the kingdom. That's what we're looking for. He's going to take over from Rome. Go ahead.
And with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus.
She drunk with the blood of the saints and the martyrs of Jesus. Go ahead.
And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration.
He said, wow, this is something else. This is a great dynasty. Verse 7.
And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns.
See, because the woman got here by way of the beast. But skip down to verse 18 and go ahead.
And the woman which thou sawest is the great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
See that great city. See, Rome is that city that reigned over the kings of the earth. Not even a state. That's something about Rome. Rome is not a country in itself. It's a city within a country. And it's reigning. Skip back to verse 8 and we're going to wrap it up. Go ahead.
The beast that thou sawest was and is not.
See, the Roman Empire was and is not. It was a mighty kingdom back in Jesus' time. And then it disappeared to a degree. It got a wound inflicted. So it said it was and is not and what?
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
Oh, but it's coming back. It was and is not and it's on its way back. As we speak, it's on its way back. It's putting the pieces back together. The bottomless pit just means obscurity. It's been in obscurity to a degree, not totally, but to a degree where it ain't ruling just wholeheartedly, where you can't even see it ruling. Because it's been in obscurity, but it's still been ruling behind the scenes to a degree. It's been feeding you religion. The Pope can go anywhere. They're going to roll the red carpet out for him, and they're going to bow down to him. So, but that's kind of, people don't really get the significance of that. So they ain't just been ruling out front. Just like I had an article I was looking yesterday where they bought up a lot of stuff secretly. Don't nobody even know they own it because they bought it through other companies, but they own it. People say you'll be in England, you wouldn't know that the Pope and them own all these buildings. You wouldn't even know it. But now, he said, the beast that thou sawest was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go where?
Into perdition.
That means destruction. Start killing you. It's going to kill you. Go ahead.
And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world.
When they what?
When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is.
That's some kind of kingdom, isn't it? A kingdom that was and is not, but yet is. Ain't went nowhere really. Just been laying dormant a little while, ready to pounce on you all over again. Verse 9.
And there is the man which hath wisdom.
Here's the man which hath wisdom. What?
The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth.
Yeah, Rome was built on 7 famous hills, but go ahead.
And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen.
Why is it 7 kings from this 4th kingdom? Because it was 10 horns which represent kings, and the man plucked 3 of them up by the rooster, the little horn. He didn't like the way they operate, those first 3 Germanic kings that took over when Rome fell in 476. He didn't like the way they operate. He got rid of them wholeheartedly. That left 7 left to come. That left 7, and they came in their generation, but they didn't come all at once. They kept a little, like putting a little daub and a little ointment on the beast because they had that wound, because they all want to rebuild the Roman Empire. It's just like one of them was Mussolini. The last one was Mussolini that came. How you think that the Pope got Vatican City? He got that from Mussolini. Mussolini had to sign on the line to give him Vatican City. So he was one of these kings that worked with the guy. Matter of fact, he was the 6th one. Notice what it says in verse 10.
And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come.
See, it says there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is. Well, eventually, it got to be 6 are fallen, right? To get to the 7th one, right? And we can say that now. See, this wasn't meant to be understood until 5 had fallen. See, the Lord writes stuff long time ago. He called the end from the beginning. It was, see, back in when 4 had fallen, wasn't nobody gonna get it. It was still out the box. But at the time when 5 had fallen and 1 is, this was the 1 is Mussolini, Benito Mussolini. That's when this can be explained and understood back in that time. So he said there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. We can say 6 are fallen. The 6th one got to fall sooner or later, and the other one got to come. And the other is not yet come. He here, but he not operating as the king to our knowledge yet. We're going to see him when they take over the world. And the other is not yet come. Go ahead.
And when he cometh,
see, he got to come. So that means the 6th one got to come and go. Go ahead.
He must continue a short space.
See, that's the one. When he come, he going to continue a short space. Go ahead.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition.
See, the beast that was and is not. See, the Roman Empire was and is not, and yet is. So it's going to get revived all over again. So that's why I say even he is the eighth, because the beast only has 7 heads, but it's regrouping to the point where, hey, when the one redo it, he get credit just like the other 7 that it came before. So even he is the eighth, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. Go ahead.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast.
See, because it got 10 horns. I told you those were different horns. It had 10 horns like the beast in Daniel, the 7th chapter, but they were different. They stood for different things because 3 of those got plucked up. These are 10 nations that's going to rule with this leadership, with this man beast and with this man false prophet. Go ahead.
These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
Okay, so now what is this? This is these 10 nations, 10 kings, and they're going to give their nation over to these 2 men, the 2 leaders, the religious leader and the military man. That's what's going to make it clay and iron. Because some of these kingdoms got weak nations, and some of these kings got powerful nations. But they all 10 of them going to say, look, we at your disposal. So that's why it's going to be a United States of Europe. That's how Rome is being revived. See, and they still going to keep their separate identities. In other words, Germany's still going to be Germany. They doing it now. They all, if you read the article we got about the euro, how they all operating under the euro, the same currency. But they still who they are. But they operating under one currency like a United Nations. But they still not having lost their identity, because you can't mix clay in with iron, can you? But you can put them all together and make them operate together, and some are strong as iron and some as weak as clay, and they all together they are forced to be reckoned with. So that's these 10 right here, just like it's 10 toes at the end of the statue. He said the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet. See, back when this was first understood, they didn't have it. But they coming into it now, because we in the time. We getting closer to it anyway. Go ahead.
These shall make war with the Lamb.
Now read verse 13 again.
These have one man, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
See, they're going to give their power and strength unto the beast. One mind. And what they going to do in the end, if you don't get nothing else, you know how it's going to end. How?
These shall make war with the Lamb.
They're going to make war with the Lamb. We keep getting to this point. In Daniel 8, the man going to stand up with the prince of princes. Well, he ain't by himself. He got some help with these 10 nations. And with this military man, this 7th one that had to come. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. Go ahead.
For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Go to 2 Thessalonians 2. 2 Thessalonians 2, and we're going to see that all over again. This is what this is all boiling down to, because the Lord going to knock them off. That's why I ain't scared to say it like it is, because I know who's going to win in the end. I'm going to be on his side. They can say what they want to say right now. They days, for them, is just like Belshazzar. The handwriting is on the wall. I'm reading it right now. So I ain't worried about them. People say, you ain't scared to say that? Nope. The handwriting on the wall. Tell them to go read it. 2 Thessalonians 2. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 1. Go ahead.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Now here come the Lord Jesus coming, because remember, he's the stone out of the mountain, cut out with our hands, coming out of nowhere to smash them, not on the head, on the feet. He gonna smash the 10 toes, these 10 nations that's operating as Rome. So he said, we beseech you about the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. See, if you know this, you wouldn't think Jesus coming to go take you back to heaven. No, he coming to complete this business. He's coming to bring man's kingdom to an halt and establish his kingdom on the earth. By the coming and by our gathering together unto him, go ahead, that what we beg you, beseech you about.
That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand.
Don't be worried no kind of way whatsoever, by no means. Don't let nobody tell you the Lord going to come on, what they say, December 2012. They lied, 21st. Back in May, it's supposed to have been a rapture in 2011, right? Just one lie after another. We don't be moved by that. That's because right. We know better. We know the signs of the time. That's right. We know stuff got to happen. Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
See, this that little horn. He's the little horn that's heading up the revived Roman Empire with his military man at his right hand. And he able to tell him who to do in, who to kill. And he can get them 10 nations and they going to attack. And they going to be a force to be reckoned with. They're going to be ruling the world. Go ahead.
Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God.
Oh, that's how you can recognize this little horn, the abomination of desolation, or this man of sin, the son of perdition. Because he putting himself above God. That's why he crazy.